judgment of everything else while I'm with them because I'm not actually present. I'm because I haven't dealt with my inner self. I'm now managing how to be around them while being with them, and now I'm not fully there. I'm not
Yeah, not
fully
present.
free.
Yeah.
I'm up
Yeah.
here. So yeah, just it's a very real reality that needs to happen. And honestly, even with cost and whatnot, I mean, if someone's a hunter, or if someone's got a sport, or if someone's got anything else they're spending time on, there's their league fees, you name it, gear. You can pay for this. This is something that's just necessary, and
Yeah.
I know it caters to the man well, because we like to go in and get something done with, not continually have a something bothering us. We want it done with, and that's such a difference. Like, if you guys were to describe a category between, let's go. We got, if there's personal growth or issues, there's coaching, life coaching, counseling. If you go to the church side, there's freedom session, deliverance programs, pastoral mentorship, staying on this level still, support teams, units. So that's like the maintain and band-aid level. And then this, what would you call this as a what would be a difference? What's a differential here? Where it's, instead of a maintaining and just keeping on going in same pattern, that's actually what this seems to do. What's the
It's an
deeper
awakening.
part here?
An awakening. I would call it an awakening, right? And it's basically, it's like shocking your nervous system out of the old patterns and behaviors that are costing you your happiness, your peace, your love, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your children, the relationship with yourself, and the relationship also with God that we talk about, right? I would say it's an awakening, right? Because basically you go through this inner discovery of self, of the lie that you were believing about yourself since you were a little kid, a little boy. And then you get to that point, that moment when you're hurt and you're met with the truth. And the truth was, you weren't abandoned. You weren't not loved. It was just 5 minutes of time that felt like ever. But that 5 minutes of time that felt like ever caused you a feeling of abandonment. It caused you, to feel unsafe. And your nervous system went into protection mode from a place of fight or flight. And so when we go out of this, let's say, survival, maintaining, right? What are we doing in that moment in time is we're actually continuously uh, reaffirming our broken beliefs that we are broken and something's wrong with us and we're not good enough, we're not lovable, we're never going to be loved, so we're going to continue affirming that to ourselves because of the story we're telling ourselves constantly. People are judging me, people don't like me, people don't love me, my wife doesn't love me, my kids don't like me, my kids don't love me, God hates me, I'm cursed, right? So we go through this false belief system, right? Of how we are, brought into this world and brought into community, brought into, growing up as an adult, and are basically left unchecked with our insecurities, our traumas, our wounds, and our hurts. And then it's not until we actually can go in to self-forgive, to forgive others. Because self-forgiveness is, when we talk about forgiving others, like, for example, when we talk about forgiving your father, it's not just about you forgiving your father, it's actually forgiving yourself within the relationship to your father. Right? It's like, okay, so, there's a context there that we have to get to the understanding. And create the clarity of the new belief system that we're trying to hold. So you want to get out of survival into thriving, right? And what does thriving look like? Well, thriving looks like, you used to be triggerable, you used to be reactive, you used to be like you used to be not able to hear and understand your wife at all, and just take everything that she says and deflect or justify and defend and not hear and understand her, creating a very unsafe, emotional, unsafe space for her because you're feeling
Mhm.
emotionally unsafe. So this work is all about creating that safety within yourself so everybody else can feel, like you said earlier, the energy, like, I don't want my energy to affect my family's energy and my negativity, because we are all energetic beings. And when we walk into a space where we're feeling something, people feel that. And they all, if they're super sensitive, they're ultimately affected, especially women, they're affected by our energy. That's why I said there's safety and security in the physical and the emotional. But that's where I felt it talking to a young woman here, where I actually felt the the energetic safety and security, right? And that's like in the book that I wrote, Rite of Passage, where I have that scene where the man's sitting in the car and he doesn't want to get out of the car. He actually just wants to drive off and run away because he doesn't want to go home, because he's just full of all this trauma, insecurity, and self doubt, and can't face his wife because he can't face himself. So the work here, and to get to like that, really, I mean, we can go on and on about defining what the difference is out of surviving and thriving, and that's pretty much it. Is you have to go into the depths of yourself, and it starts with you. It doesn't start with
Yeah.
anybody else. It doesn't start with your kids. It doesn't start with your wife. It starts with you and the relationship you have with you. And if there's that relationship with God, it's also the relationship with God within you, right?
Yeah. It's
So I look at it at that depth.
yeah. I love how you explain that, because that is yeah, it's very in depth. Um, it tells the difference. Like it's, as you know, I have a background in door to door sales, like 10 years, 8 to 10 years. Yeah, it was a lot of training, not just on door to door sales, like just mental positivity or mental being in the right state. But
Yeah,
it was always preached about up here. And if you weren't feeling right, oh, well, you don't have your mind right. It's like, really? Okay. Like with what I know now.
yeah,
Um, it's like, no, you don't have your mind right, meaning you're not in management mode enough. That's
yeah.
basically a difference that I can pick out now.
Right. Yeah, and
That
then
we all live.
so that's awesome when you say that, right? Sorry to jump in there for a second, but just I want to add to
Yeah.
that, what you just said, like, it's not right in your head, but it's not in your head, it's in your body, because it's coming from you, it's coming from your heart, from your soul. And when you are not feeling right and you're not feeling off, you need to step back, exit the situation, breathe, center, and then understand and get clarity and get clear and get clean within yourself, so you can come back and be approachable. So when that person opens the door, they now feel safe. Oh, he's not a threat. Because if you come out the door and you're stressed, you're overwhelmed. Because 65% of our human communication is energetic. They're gonna pick it up and they're gonna be like, "No, sorry, bro, we're not interested. Have a great day." But if you come with
Yeah.
an open heart, with clarity, and you're not triggered, you have nothing emotionally there destabilizing you. Now you can, same in coaching. For Nick and I, when we work with a man, we have to try to make sure that we are super clear and clean within ourselves, so
Yeah.
we can be 100% present for the men that we're working with, right? Why is that necessary? Because we don't want to be in a situation where if a man is coming to us and his context is stronger than ours, right? We talked about context the other day. His context is stronger than ours,
Yeah.
then he can trigger us and trigger whatever is living and alive in us to be response to respond to his response in the
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
right? So we always have to maintain a stronger context and a clarity within ourselves. Hey, we know, we are aware that a man will get triggered in a call, and he might snap, and he might break, and he might say, "Fuck you, go to hell. Who the fuck are you to tell me blah blah blah?" And our job is just to, shut the fuck up, sit back, let him go, let him go through that trigger, because in that moment we can't do anything but to sit back and maintain silence and allow it to say, okay, and then let him go through it for a minute or two, whatever, and then say, "Great vent. Is there any more in there that you want to share?" So we get him to get out of the vent. So once he's out of the trigger and goes through the vent, now he's calmer. Now he's a little bit more coachable. Now he's a little bit more approachable. Now he can maybe hear and understand what we're trying to show him, and bring that to him, to bring it present within him. But what's important is to bring it present within him, but he has to bring it present within him, but by our leadership.
Yes.
And that's the way that the man will actually change, is through our leadership, but for him to have the internal self-realization of what it looks like. Be like, "Oh my God, I've been operating like this. Oh, I have to change. Oh my God, wow." And that becomes a win for him.
Yeah. The recognition and the realization. It's
Right. When a man internalizes the win within himself, even though we led him there, but he assumes the realization within himself and becomes aware to the behavior, that's where the real work starts, because that's where he can then have, we have free choice, right? So now he has a choice. He can either sit there and let that behavior continue to move and destroy him, or he can now choose to say, "Hey, wait a minute, I got to get rid of this. I got to move this out of me. The only way that I'm going to be better to show up for my family, for me, for my children, or for my wife, or vice versa, is for me to let this go and work on it and grieve it or break it out of me, because it's something that's holding me back from having the peace and the love and the true journey that I wish to live forward in my life with."
wow. And that is that. I mean, going from management to living, like that's
Yeah.
that's oh, the amount and how hard a man works, how hard a woman works. I mean,
Yeah. And
just
imagine how hard they work to avoid doing the work when it's actually not so hard. All it takes is a choice. All it takes is a commitment to say, "Hey, I had enough. I had enough of this shit feeling like this." Go ahead, Nick.
It's new and scary and different, and so they don't want to explore that because they're afraid of the unknown, and so because they can't control what's going to happen, they don't want to do it. Right?
yeah, that
It's
sense of control, the managing.
right.
Yeah,
It's a vicious cycle that I know I need to do this, but I don't want to do it because I don't know what's going to happen, and so I'm not going to do it. Because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
It's a disconnect there. Like a
Yeah.
disconnect from yourself when you're actually like saying there's something there's a need. Maybe you actually maybe you don't have the need because you don't know. However, that unknown is the disconnect between like you don't know what you don't know, so you can't connect to the value here until you decide to go in and actually be true to yourself. And that might be the actual the actual place that a man needs to realize in is that you're striving for goals, you're striving for being something, and men of course have goals of being somewhere where they're not right now.
Yeah.
And they are choosing to try and do everything with the skill set and abilities, and really they decided that their capacity is here, when it could be open.
Yep. Facts.
And that is what they are living in, and they can't see it because all they can see is what they can control and contain. That's what we men do. And then we now have a message being sent into our space saying, okay, you can actually live who you are made as, who you are made to be as a man, openly and freely. And all these dreams and goals you're striving for and managing to contain along this broken path can actually be smoothed out and be seen with more clarity and more power and strength, when you remove yourself out of your own way. And knowing how to do that. Like, how does you ask a guy, I could go to like 10 guys on the street and say, do you know how to get out of your own way? And I bet you maybe 2 of them be like, they maybe think about it. But 3 of them would make something up on the spot to look good. And actually maybe 5, honestly. That's the ego. And then others will probably just simply say they don't know. That's that's it. in my estimation.
Well, hey, I see we have PK here. Hugo, you there?
Well, let's see. What's up, brothers?
What's up, brother?
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, bro.
I saw the reminder a little too late.
Yeah, it's okay, man. We still have a bit of time here.
It's
Nice
good.
to meet you, man. I'm Nathan.
Nice to meet you as well. Nathan,
Nick.
nice to meet you. Hugo, PK, Nick. I know Nick.
You know, Nick,
Nice.
Maybe
you
don't
know me.
but I know Wally for sure. But yeah. Good, doing
Nice.
good, guys. I'm right now, just spending time with the kids in scout camp.
Oh,
that's
nice.
cool.
Making some coffee for everyone else. So
Very
that's what
nice.
I'm doing right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We were just talking about what was the question that you were asking Nathan earlier that we just kind of discussed the difference between surviving.
It's what I would say is the maintenance level of things, you know. So there's like, I guess to go across the board is like life coaching, counseling, yeah, basically heck, you can even say yoga. But you can go across to like the church side of like, you know, faith-based counseling, deliverance programs, freedom sessions. Really what I would call a band-aid effect is where like there's a pattern happening but we're maintaining pastoral mentorship, peer mentorship, and then there's this level of maintenance, and then there's, okay, what would we classify the deeper inner work? Wally mentioned it was a call it an awakening. That's kind of the question here, is what would we put this category as? Because it's not it's kind of an area where a lot of people don't know. They don't know. They know, okay, like, well, if you're having a hard time, you do that surface level I just mentioned. If something isn't right, you kind of go there. And if you did it, you feel better. But sometimes it's just like, okay, we lifted up the Band-Aid, we looked, this was maybe a bit more understanding of what it is, but we put it back down and continue managing our life. What is the difference between that level and then the deeper level of the inner work?
So is that a question for me? I'm assuming you guys already kind of talked about it.
Yeah,
Right? So I guess
we'd love to hear your
me.
response on it. Yeah.
Sure. So that's a great question. I think that it comes with the difference will come in acceptance. I think that's where it's at for me, right? I think that all of us men here are doing some inner work, regardless. That is a lifestyle. It is a never-ending story. You are never perfect, right? So there's definitely always a moment of, or a process of going deeper, like you mentioned, right? But it comes with acceptance. Actually, this past 2 weeks, I've been pondering. I've done a lot of inner work now and whatnot, and the one that has taken me the longest is my father wound.
Mm.
right? And it's coming to acceptance of who he is, the way he is, that is not going to change. And instead of blaming, again, it's accepting.
Mm.
I think for me, that's what it's at, right? Same goes with your past. Whatever happened to you, is accepting that did. And that's it. It's just accepting it, not becoming the victim, not saying that this was one of the biggest things that I do with my clients is rewriting your story, right?
Hmm.
So when you go through your story and you say this happened to me, right? This is successes. It's not inaccurate. It's true. This happened to you, right? And you can be there as a victim, meaning you can consistently say this is what happened to me, and you didn't accept it. It's just successes happened to you. But then accepting that did, and not trying to hide it, trying to mask it, trying to make it different than what it was. Sometimes we romanticize the victimhood, right? So accepting this for what it is. But then when you change your story from this is what happened to me to this are my choices based on what happened to me. You change the entire outlook because it's no longer anybody else's fault. Nobody made you choose anything. It was you. So now I have to live with the reality and accept that I'm here where I'm at because of my choices, not because of what happened, but because of what I chose after what happened. The world crumbled down. Cool. Yeah, it did. That's true. I'm not saying it's not. What do you did after that?
Yeah.
Right? So you live, and I think that it comes really with the acceptance, which makes me realize I'm still having a hard time with accepting my dad. And when I say accepting is truly saying, you know what, thank you. Regardless of everything that happened, I still get choked up. I still get teary eye on having to even utter the words "thank you" to my father, and I realize there's still some level of acceptance that I have not gotten
Mm.
there. Because when I accept it, you just accept it. It is what it is. If I
Yeah.
still have some sort of remorse, or sort of uh, regret, pain, hurt, I haven't fully accepted that situation, right? And then the reason probably why I haven't is because then I have to accept that it was not his fault. It was my actions based on what he did, right? That is the reason why I'm here today. And I might not want to accept the actions that I took, right? I might still want to blame somebody else. So going into your answer, and I kind of went in a roundabout way. I think acceptance for me is one of the biggest parts of really knowing what is that difference between like, oh, I'm just, I did the basic work. I'm not exploding. I'm being cool. I have good relationships. I'm okay with here, and there. But when you truly accept, right, they did take ownership and acceptance of where you at, things start to change.
Yeah,
So
and
that for me
I
right
would,
there is the biggest thing.
that's awesome, and I would,
Well
I
said.
mean, yeah, I think that's amazing, and it's funny. It's kind of very similar to what I brought up, and the choice, right? But I think it's acceptance, but I think there's one element there which is forgiveness, is to utterly forgive him, and then really truly forgive yourself, and then accept that, and have the acceptance of the forgiveness.
Yeah,
You know.
sure.
I think that because I see that forgiveness is one of the most powerful things we can do, because once we can forgive those who hurt us and understand that we need to also forgive ourselves, that leads us to love, to self love, and fills our heart, fills our cup, and that love can then pour out from us. And then from there, from that love, we now can trust ourselves fully and honor that trust. So for me, I always say it's forgive, love, and then trust. And then you can add forgive, love, and trust, and then acceptance of all three.
Yeah. that's so cool. Thanks for sharing that, Hugo. That's very well, and it's just you can feel the realness in the story, and and that's a relatable pattern, I think, to me, to pretty much every guy, who is managing, like you said, I've dealt with it a bit. I got my good relationships. I'm managing, you know. Um, However, the deeper work is like a place that you mentioned, getting teared up a bit with going to your when you want to say thank
Oh,
you, to your father, and like, yeah, in
to lose
some,
you guys.
I can relate to every man can relate, where if you're not a perfect man yourself, you definitely didn't have a perfect father. So we can relate that there's areas where the father wasn't there for us, or many ways maybe, but if there's a tear up or an emotion or a feeling there, this is kind of like, maybe you guys can agree that this is an area where, okay, what is that? How come
Mm,
when I touched on that area, what is it in me as a man that I haven't felt? I haven't taken the time for, what's the pressure cooker here starting to bubble, you know? And
mm,
is that a part of me I'm right now not looking at? Why am I not able to look at that part of myself? And this is, again, the concept is, that's where we got the management, and then the depth. So, does that kind of make sense, guys? Like what I was saying there, like it's
yeah,
relatable.
absolutely.
Totally.
And it's funny because
Yeah.
I was watching this Tony Robbins Unleashed video this morning, and it's interesting. I kind of related to it in the sense of like how my mother put me against my father, and how that also created the internal, created me as a mama's boy, and then made me
Yeah.
not trust my father or go to my father. And my mother manipulated so well to be her little, and then put me against the father. And that also created the confusion of me being angry towards my father, but in fact, I should have been angry at my mother the whole time because of the way she was manipulating me and using me as a tool to hurt my father and go against my father. And that
Yeah.
also creates that internal struggle like, oh, why is my dad like this? Why is my dad like that? Because mother came in and made me think that way.
Poisoned you.
My father, it poisoned me, yeah. And my father is the biggest support I had. Like, I wouldn't have become a makeup artist, a photographer, and done the things I've done, or a soccer player, or did all the things that I did, you know, uh, without my father.
Yeah.
You know. So for me, my father was like an amazing father, loving, caring, and everything. And my mother was just a poison. Poison my sisters, try to poison me, but I was the only one to see through it. Well, except for my younger sister, for example, right? So, we also have to look at those points and those aspects too. It's like sometimes we have, these bad relationships with our father because we've been poisoned towards him. And that's also something to take a look at and step into and be like, wait a minute, how does my father love me? He's always loved me. Has my father always taught me things or showed me things? And did he teach me about love? Did he teach me about life? Did he show me things? How did he show me love? Without saying he loved me, but how did he show you love? How did he show me love? Right? By helping you move forward, take action, take a step forward into life, into manhood, and become, right? Like, I remember becoming a fashion photographer and waiting for a stylist to come and a makeup artist to come. And my father said to me, like, "Wally, you're an artist. You're a sculptor. You're a painter. Just go out and buy makeup." And he actually went out and bought makeup for me to start doing makeup on the models. And it was
Nice.
because of him that I learned how to do makeup, and I fully trust myself that I could do makeup because I knew how to paint. So the foundation is the primary paint, the white paint, and then you start painting, right? And then here you have an outline. You have the eyes, eyelashes, you know, the mouth, you know, the cheekbones. So basically, you're just learning how to applying color to the structure that's already there.
Hmm.
And if it wasn't for my father, I would have never learned that. The same thing with styling. I went to the thrift stores and I would buy clothes from the thrift store to style models. So now I didn't have to depend on anybody but myself to go and make money and be a fashion photographer, move to Paris, move to London, and travel the world the way I did and do the things I did the way I did them.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
so
your tools.
you know, but growing up, I was thinking about it this morning, like how my mother really pitted me against my father. So that's where I had to go in to forgive myself and accept that it wasn't my fault. It was actually
Yeah.
my mother who, from a young child, manipulated me that way.
And you weren't
It's
aware. You're a kid.
And I wasn't aware. Yeah, and I was a kid. I wasn't aware of it.
and you even gotta ask too, like it's even at this age, any age, you know, what boy also wants to confront their mother, you know, or make her feel bad or make her feel
Yeah.
unsafe. Naturally, you know, we take it on ourselves and we protected them,
Yeah.
even when they weren't right. And
I mean, yeah,
when they're
exactly.
you
And
know,
I see that with my older son. You know, my older son, you know, he sees his mother for who she is. You know, and he's like, you know, there's something wrong with her. He can see it. He can feel it. And he tells me like, yeah, you know, mom likes yes men, guys that would do anything for her. And as soon as you tell her no, then she bullies you. And the same, he feels that from his own experience with her. When he says no, then she gets angry and aggressive, and you know.
yeah, I see that
So,
there. It's huh.
Yeah, when she doesn't have the control, then she gets angry.
yeah, yeah. When she doesn't have control, she gets really angry, pissy, and then she starts to dominate and tries to dominate. Right.
Yeah.
You know.
These
So
are
my
things
kids
though,
are
like
very aware.
sorry. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I was just saying that my kids are very aware of what's happening. You know.
And that's like, man, I wouldn't even never be aware if unless I was described it, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like the norms of heck, even what we're supposed to be as men according to society, even like, you know, like I was raised in like, oh, you stand up for your mother. We watched movies on like, you know, like defending mom and you know, keeping mom from dad and protecting you. And it's like a natural it was almost like just a natural coercion to be there and take on the safe space for your mother when you were the kid. You were the child, and mother was actually, ideally, in my opinion, is healthily would show you the boundaries, show you the stability, support her marriage and husband, and ideally not turn you against him because she felt bad.
Yeah.
She would be a stable guide for you, and in many cases with the emotional space of our mothers, I'm sure we just didn't see that stability.
Yeah, and you know when you say that, what it brings me to is the idea of you get these amazing women that had great fathers that showed up for them, heard them, understood them, led them to become women, and you know when they got married, instead of like dumping on their husband, putting their husband down, which is what I got, you know, with my ex-wife, is any good deed I have ever done to try to either please her, make her happy, or build something to become, you know, financially secure. And she would sabotage it. She would sabotage me. She would sabotage the business. She would sabotage herself because she wasn't good enough to do it on her own. So it's like there's a jealousy that she has against, like uses jealousy of me because, and she said this like, "Oh, I'm more capable than you, but somehow you create things and make them happen." Yeah, because I don't sit around and procrastinating. I actually have an idea. Here's the idea. I take action. I make it happen. You know, where and then for her it's like, oh, we started the Airbnb. I don't want to do this anymore. So she just drops everything and leaves it 100% up to me. So I can't build my coaching platform at the same time have, cleaning rooms in the Airbnb and trying to juggle both
Yeah.
things all 100% by myself. And then she's sitting around doing nothing, just expecting to live for free off of me.
Yeah, it's almost like what do you with that, and I hear you. With that, it's like how does a man stay solid in that? Like
Emotional work,
self-preservation, and it's like,
you know,
you
and
know,
accept, and it's what Hugo said is acceptance, right? Accepting that that's who she is right now
Mhm.
and forgiving her and accepting her as who she is. And you can't do anything like, you can't do anything to change her. She's not willing to change and take responsibility for her behavior. And even if you point it out to her a million times, it's like as I said the other day, it's like you can throw shit at the wall 100 times. Hopefully something will stick. Well, I threw shit at the wall 1,000 times and nothing stuck.
yeah.
you know,
Oh, I got you,
because
buddy. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that.
It's not up
The
to you. Right? It's up to her.
yeah,
I think,
and
yeah, guys can relate. Just with that, like the forgiving 1,000 times over.
yeah,
Like that's a lot. Like I
that's a
think
lot.
most of us can say, I can forgive someone who repeats a few times and say, okay, no problem, it's okay next time. But when you live with it and when you have it that
Yeah,
many times over,
yeah,
uh,
and it
knowing
comes
how to
down.
process,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah, and
where you actually truthfully
yeah,
forgive
yeah,
for yourself.
but.
And
And I think that was for me to speak to that as my experience with her is, she had certain behaviors that she was doing, intentional behaviors that she was doing, or acting to me like she was a 5-year-old child, being a really bratty, jerk towards me, and not being able to communicate with clarity or understanding or compassion or empathy. It was always judgment. It was always deflection. It was like she was a man, like being deflective and deflecting and justification, and then like always having to be right because that's the only way she could feel safe, right? But then you try to say, hey, this behavior is hurting me, but yet I could say this behavior hurts me 100 times, but yet you don't do anything to change the behavior and continue to hurt me. Well, that means that you don't have any integrity. You have no self control. You're not doing any work that you claim to be doing for yourself, right? You're not taking responsibility. You're taking any actions. You're taking zero actions and zero accountability to change anything to stop that behavior. And then there's only so much. And then when it starts to push against you as a man as your terms, where they're saying shut down your business because it's not working. I'm like, no, it would work had my partner not come in sabotage,
yeah,
right? So then she sabotages it, and then she flips it. Oh, you should turn it down. Stop doing this because it's not working, obviously, and it's all your fault. No, now you're going against my terms as a man, which is my responsibility. I'm like, you know what? No, I put 30,000 into this. I'm not gonna lose 30,000 because you gave up. I'm gonna fight through,
yeah,
and if you don't want the relationship, bye.
yeah.
And that's what I did. I said, okay,
You stuck
you want
to
to
your
move,
terms.
move. I stuck to my terms.
Yeah, that's something to explore too. Is like what are a man's terms? But Wally, that's a not easy, man.
I
I
know
can't.
it's not easy,
I'm not
man.
in that. I'm not in it, but I hear your story here, and to stay in an emotional place of clarity.
Yeah,
And
because
this guy's like
I
a
did
mentor for
not
you.
want to be continually beaten up every day, completely like every day being pushed, like pushing the bear, pressing the buttons. Every day is constantly, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, this is your fault, this is your fault, and I'm like, I need space, I need time for me. Can you give me that? No. Oh, you didn't. Can you do the dishes? You didn't clean this. You didn't clean that. I'm like, you have like serious, like I would say, like you have serious OCD. Like, if something is not right, and obviously I've said that I need my time and space, and if something that bothers you, guess what? It's not bothering me, it's only bothering you. So why don't you take the opportunity to fix it then? And that was the same thing in the marriage where I would do the dishes, I would make dinner, I would do the dishes, clean up, put everything away, and do a really good job at it. Well, I went to boarding school and, but dishes were never done properly. Table was never cleaned properly. Things were never put away properly. So
Yeah.
anything good I ever tried to do was made to be bad
Not good enough.
and not good enough, right? So yeah, at points I thought I was going crazy. I seriously thought I was mentally like losing my shit with her because I felt like something was seriously wrong with me. But until I discovered that it wasn't me, it's actually her behavior. And then when I was able to step back after being back together with her after being married and divorced, and then her coming back for 2.5 years, seeing that she was only there for herself and then still continue with that behavior that was happening in marriage, I was able to recognize and see it go, oh my God, she was doing this the whole time and now she's doing it again. But now I'm not being the yes man.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
she's pushing harder, testing harder on
And she's like,
purpose,
yeah,
looking for an excuse to leave.
yeah.
So I said, you want to leave? Leave. Actually, I feel much better because I don't have that continuous stress. It was very overwhelming, so I feel free right now and in my power.
Awesome.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, you obviously know the emotional work very well. You
Right?
coached me, and yeah, the ability to be able to shoot, and you know what, the ownership, the responsibility, the
To let it
taking,
go.
the letting go and taking back into your power of standing as the man you are,
Yeah.
um, and in clarity, not in a resistance.
Yeah.
Um,
Bingo.
Emotionally
Bingo.
processing how to do that is I appreciate how much you've coached me as well. Still, that I understand what that takes. It's a lot deeper than just saying, "Oh, I understand what it is." It's actually to get that clear, man. You gotta feel
Yeah.
it, feel through it, and I know
Yeah.
you have to
It's
have
all
that
about feeling
resolve,
through it,
that
right?
real
Yeah.
resolve.
Yeah.
Present. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
like, would I would like to have a healthy relationship with her? Absolutely. I asked God for her, and next thing I met her 45 minutes after I talked to God asking for someone to love and love me, and then I met her 45 minutes later. you know, and, we were together, what, 18, 19 years before we got divorced,
yeah.
you know?
Long time.
So, yeah,
Hmm.
you love somebody, but if they can't learn to let go of past traumas, past wounds, past hurts, and continue to bring up things that happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and are stuck there and past in the time, in the past, and are refusing to um, be in the present and to move forward and with something new and let something go and forgive and love and trust again. You can't force that. You can only try to show that. And that's what I try to do, even though she, you know, still comes at me with things, I still show up as the man that I want to be. You know, she needs help financially, and if I'm in a position I can help her, I'll help her. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's strong, man. Very strong.
yeah.
Right.
I want to add, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So TBH was great. I'm not going to dong on it at all. But
Yeah.
I did a good 4 or 5 other programs. I learned a lot through a lot of different of them. Um, and TBH talks about terms and talks about her management and all that kind of stuff. Some of the other ones that I did was more about leadership, right? And that definitely impacted me a little bit more. TBH was a lot of knowledge on relationships, on feminine and masculine. But one of the things about leadership, and it definitely helped me, I think, propel a lot more. Not only my relationship, but my situation. This was understanding my leadership, and not going to say Wally, anything, but I'm going to kind of bring up connecting in some point. Even today, even not today, but like a few days ago, my wife does not understand why I do things, or how I do, why, none of those things. And sometimes uh, I can understand where she's coming from. She might be trying to mock it or whatever, right? And I'll give you guys one example. Um, I don't know. I mean, I know Wally has seen it, but over the last 4 years, since I started my journey, I decided that I'm part of my leadership was taking control of my body, being not only healthy but physically fit. Um, right, and health to the deeper level. Well, right now I'm competing for Mr. To be featured in Mr. Health and Fitness, and looking pretty good. I would never thought that I was going to be able to get here naturally, not no performance enhancement drugs. But the reason why I'm saying this is because she mocked me at some point about like how I was doing things, like how I was wrong, or like trying to do this or trying to do that, and even not too long ago, it's like, why are you kind of showing off your body, right? And it has nothing to do about me. It's all her insecurities, whatever it might be,
Mhm.
right? But what I have learned from leadership is understand who I am. So a couple of the other programs do what is called an identity statement that
Mhm.
is read every day, right? And it's identifying who you are and who you're becoming. And when you read it every day, it reminds you of who you are today, how are you going to show up, and what you want to shoot for. And what that does on a daily basis, when you read it every freaking day, every fucking day, you know that no matter what the noise is outside, might even be the person closest to you telling you, what are you doing this for? It doesn't fucking matter, because I read it this
Mhm.
morning, and when I read it, it said that this was the man that I'm becoming. And you might not understand why I'm doing things. You might not
Yeah.
understand what I'm making these choices, but I'm making it because I made a promise to myself, because
Mhm.
it's my part of my leadership. And you, as a woman or as whoever you are, you don't have to understand, because there's my identity, who I am,
Yep.
my terms,
Yeah. Your
my
autonomy. Yep.
values, my goals, right? So it doesn't matter what she says sometimes. And when she says stuff like, that I just listen to her. It's like, I hear you. Yeah, and I even make fun of it. You know, um, and I'll probably post that so where you guys can see the difference of 4 years of work
Mhm.
naturally. She mocked me when to this day she's like, why you make so many faces when you work out? Well, because I'm doing heavy fucking weights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I personally don't know how to do the weights, heavy weights, with like a straight face. I can't. So If you don't understand it, cool. It's like, do you have to make the faces? Yeah, I have to. I mock it. It's like, well, the faces is what made me do it even, stronger. It's what makes it go, makes me go harder. And she cracks up, right? But that's not support, if you want to call support or whatever it is. But all I'm gonna say is one of the things I have learned through all the different programs is you got to know who you are,
Hmm.
right? Terms, the terms are different because terms are things you're willing to break the marriage for or any relationship for, right? But if I were to ask you, Wally, who are you? Right? And I don't want the answer to be I'm a father, I'm a husband, I go this is what I do for work. No, no. Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah, and for
Right?
me, that's the way that I would respond to that is like, I'm a man that lives for peace and love, and wants peace and love,
Okay.
and wants to create peace and love, and I can't deal without that. I can't live in that space without having it. And if someone is not willing to be part of it, I can't change it. So the only thing I can do is be truthful to my heart, what I need
Yeah,
in that moment.
100%.
That's what I
Yep.
decided. That's what I decided. I said to myself, when I said, okay, you know what, this is done. I'm over it. I
Yeah.
actually said, I wish she moves out. I hope she moves out because I can't do this anymore. She's exhausted me. She's like, it's not like your wife doing what she did. Like, I can handle that. But what my ex-wife was
Yeah.
doing to me was constantly digging at me with a knife, like constantly having a knife at
Yeah.
my throat. And I could not relax. It was like when I left TBH as a coach, the release of my nervous system that I got from leaving TBH was wow. And then the release when she left was, oh my God, I can actually breathe. So for
Yeah.
me, it was about,
And by the way, I'm not saying that what you're doing is either correct or wrong. I wanted to make
yeah, no,
sure. I
I
just
get that.
wanted
I
to kind of
understand.
add the fact,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah,
Yeah, I needed peace, and I'm someone that needs peace. I need love. I need affection. I need to be heard. I need to be understood. I wasn't getting any of that. I was getting constant rejection, constant mockery, constant "you're not good enough." I'm like, it was so exhausting, honestly,
sorry, brother. I'm so sorry.
that I couldn't live
The,
like that. It was defeating me every day. Like, imagine
yeah.
getting up and you have your ritual, your daily motivation of the things that you know that are going to bring you to being successful, right? With the coaching program, with the house, with the Airbnb, so you have multiple sources of income. So the
Yeah.
kids could have things, she can have things, she could have a life. But then she goes into sabotage that. She can sabotage the coaching, sabotage the Airbnb, sabotage the relationship, and then mocks you and doesn't take responsibility and cuts you every day
Hmm.
with a knife. I'm like, I don't want to live like that. So I was bleeding. My soul was bleeding for freedom,
Yeah.
and I need my freedom. So as a man and me and who I am, I'm a man that loves deeply, who feels deeply, who needs peace, who needs to be heard and understood and seen, and therefore I can return that to the person I'm communicating with, to hear and see them and understand them and to love them, as a friend or as a partner, or or respect them in a business and understand clarity and get to a place from here to there without resistance. But with that, I was constantly in resistance that was depleting me. I couldn't focus on the things. I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD, so my the way I think, the way I operate, I need to think and feel and be like this and have clarity. But if I'm constantly under pressure, constantly under a gun, being constantly slapped at, punched at, pushed down at,
Yeah.
how am I going to show up for a man who I need to coach, or a client I need to coach if my wife or ex-wife or partner is screaming at me for something that is meaningless? Well, I need to be present for a client. I'm telling her, I'm going on a call with a client now. Can you please not do this every time I get on a call? Because it's very disruptive to my energy. It's very disruptive to me and my performance with the client that is actually paying me to facilitate transformation for them. And meanwhile, you're over here giving me shit about dust on the shelf, which you know,
I hear you, man. Yep.
I'm like, it's a dust on the shelf. We can deal with it. Let me get through this call, and then I'll take care of it. No, do it now. I can't. I'm in prep mode for my client. I need to have that time, half an hour before, or an hour before, sometimes, to really clear my energy, so I'm 100% clear and present for that client for that hour that I'm on the call with him or her. So it got to a point where like I was stuck with the overhead of the cleaning all the rooms. I could continue with my clients because I had to take care of this business, and she dropped the ball on me. And then, oh, this is not the life I wanted. Oh, what was the life you wanted? To sit around and do nothing while I do everything, killing myself? No, that's not how life works. This is a two-way street. You committed to this, so you have to, stay in the commitment to what you committed to. No, I'm not going to clean anymore. I have to clean 5 rooms in one apartment all by myself last summer for the Airbnb. While she knew I was trying to generate and get renewing the man and the coaching company up. So right now I have the freedom to choose to create, do the things that I need to do in order to create the life that I want to create without having that constant distraction.
Yeah, way to choose it, man.
I got to run.
All right, brother.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Good to see you, Nick.
You too, brother. So yeah, we're like 20 minutes over here, but yeah, anything to add, Hugo, before we wrap?
No, brother. No, brother.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I apologize. That I realized it a little late.
Yeah, it's
but
okay.
Thank you for the
Good
opportunity.
to see you, man. Good to meet you too.
Yeah.
Same.
Everything
We'll
said.
be here next.
I really
We'll be
appreciate
here next week.
Yep.
We'll be here next week, same time, 7:00 Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. So we have this call weekly.
Awesome. Love
Yeah.
it.
All right, brother. Looking forward to seeing you on more of these calls, brother.
Yes,
it.
sir.
Guys.
All right.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.